Gina was so wet for Rumi that he slept in a sleeping bag.
Bad bitches in the spot, I throw the energy off. This that bag walk through, bad bitches.
Hello and good evening everyone out there. This is the lovely and beautiful spaced out Lieutenant Captain Queen of the Daystar Voyage, Miss Kyoko Cane, the glamorous cosplayer, the vlogger queen, the animation junkie herself, discussing about topics about entertainment media, animation and Japanimation as a whole, etc. The good, the bad, the beautiful, and also the many issues around it that we need to talk about and critique it and clock it and read it to film. That's what we do on this channel. And by clock it, meaning that discussing the topics and the issues and the flaws within media. But in this video, we're going to be talking about some really hot, positive tea right here on this review and critique, because I want to talk about something that's so positive, that's been on my mind throughout the whole summer. And that being said, a cultural phenomenon that's been taking over social media, your musical ears, your love of animation as a whole, and that is Kpop Demon Hunters! Woo! Now, in this 3-part special video, which I'll be discussing about Kpop Demon Hunters as a whole, I would like to dedicate towards the fandom of how pretty much y'all, I knew from the very jump before the release of this movie that it was going to be like a gargantuanly successful with so many popular reviews from musical or social media platforms, and everybody has been talking about it. But yeah, right now I understand y'all pretty much quit me yapping and whatnot, but I want to get down to the story of Kpop Demon Hunters. So this is like spoilers ahead or anyone else who are regarding. So I'm gonna try to keep minimum spoiler free. As you see throughout the film, you follow the adventures around the Huntrix group, which is also the 3-band girl group of Miss, Zoe, and Rumi, and also Mira. In the middle, as you see, Rumi is like the main character of the series, along with like the 3 girls. On the left is pretty much Zoe, and Mira is on the right. But yeah, they do have their own individuality of like their personalities. They're written so well with like so much like charisma and like uniqueness and so much like bold, like fun-loving personalities, and not built as like normally like Mary Sue's in today's film industry and animation as a whole nowadays. But they broke so many barriers throughout. But yeah, besides all that, the story revolves around these girls from past era and generation after generation about like these pop singing idols, be it from basically from each Korean era of singing, be it from like, you know, the 60s to like the raging 70s, the 80s and the 90s. Also basically musical platforms that paved the way towards like Korean and Asian like music genres as such. And there are guardians, be it from daytime, they are singing celebrity idols, and from nighttime, they're pretty much demon hunters. And they're in charge of pretty much promoting a safe barrier amongst like humans and demons not to intertwine with each other and keep like the world and also the area and their land safe, which is like basically known as the Hun Moon. Each every generation is responsible for that. But yeah, as you can see from past, present, and future now, we see like the Kpop Demon Hunters, known as the characters that are pretty much listed on the screen, Zoe and Rumi and also Mira. Rumi being the main character in the middle, who is also assigned special guardianship along her friends to be able to protect and also save the world to some extent, and also to protect people from demons as such from their own world, and not make sure like everything is not intertwined. As time goes by, the tradition has been broken because, as we see, Rumi is also a character who's also half demon, which you'll see momentarily throughout the whole film, and also how she deals like the struggles and also the rise of being a K-pop best-selling #1 K-pop group in the world along with her friends, and she has to deal with like the misadventures and also the many like what it does to her, like her well-being and her self-worth as such. And you know, we going through that so much. We have so many like mini animations that pave the way towards like having good morals around other people and also learning from different aspects of animation. And from my perspective, I do feel like Kpop Demon Hunters is so rooted towards like shoujo and josei, which is also manga and anime demographics geared towards women and girls for that matter, because you can see so many of these like 3 girls go through like so many tribulations and also perspectives and obstacles towards girlhood and womanhood. Also, they did that with like Zoe too. Zoe is one of those main characters who's also like the fun-loving girl. She's pretty much like the equivalent of like Bubbles, and also Rumi being like pretty much Blossom, the girl I said before with the half demon girl. Zoe is pretty much energetic energetic, really feisty, very energetic, in your face, just like the rapper of the group. Also, I will have to say she's very just like sprung over to one of the boys of the rival group, which we're gonna get to in a moment. Yeah, she's like the equivalent of Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. And dare I say Mira, my girl also. Mira's like the most underrated character in like the girl group. She's basically like the stronghold mom of the group. She tries to keep like everything at a balance, and just like so much is just like going on in her head, and she just has to be like much more stoic and reserved and just like refined, just to not be able to just like blast out or burst at other people like physically or emotionally as such. Because I feel that's like Zoe's job, to be able to be like the energetic, like kind person, and also the like rambunctious one of the group. We're just gonna get to like Mira right now. Mira's like pretty much Buttercup, I feel, in a sense. She's much more like well written, with like a hint of Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls. She's just so like just in her own, just like be able to just like protect people from harm's way and just do what's right. And sometimes her judgment could like cloud her, even though she doesn't show as much like emotion as the other girls and just as depth. And I feel like we need to get to see like a lot more of Mira in the near future if like Kpop Demon Hunters has a sequel. Which understandable, because each and every one of them has their own background, which you could like be able to get to know the girls, and from the very start of the film. And also, like I said, Mira, Buttercup, and also Zoe is like Bubbles coded as such, like Powerpuff Girls inspired. But with Rumi's like blossom in the group, to the sense like she's just like pretty much has so much like dread in her life because being half demon and just trying to hide it from the whole world, even though she has to tell all the rest of the girls. I do feel like when you see Rumi, it has so much like, it's laced with so much like good writing of her character, be it from a person who's just like coming out being like any LGBT, etc., or either like bi or gay or straight and whatnot, or just like learning to just like be open-minded towards like the different sexual orientation, and it feels so great. And also, by the way, this is like a LGBT, etc. friendly group over here on a Daystar Voyage, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and keep those like golden thumbs just like blooming like my mini gardens towards growing like more like and subscribers. Yes, thank you very much. But yeah, with Rumi, I feel like when it comes down to her writing, she's just one of those characters, and just like, be it from like, if you're in a closet or not, or just trying to be something that you're not, just to get ahead in life, you pretty much relate to her at a whole time high. And right about now, even though we're going to get back to those three girls, we're going to get to the other characters of the show, which is the Saja boys. Oh my lord, these boys were so thirsty the moment they got onto the screen, and also be able to just like captivate and make every last girl and female K-pop junkie out there, meaning like an obsessive fan, just leak and just water underneath there. I'm gonna tell you that now. I knew from the very jump when this movie was gonna be released, all y'all was gonna be floored and whipped and just like screaming behind the screens every chance y'all get when these boys were gonna arrive. And the members of the Saja Boys basically composed of Jinu, who's also the lead singer, along with Abby, Mystery, Saja, which is also a 5-boy band group, which is also the rivalry towards Huntresses, which I forgot to tell you. Huntresses is based off the girl group named Rumi and Zoe and Mira. Yes, they go head to head, toe to toe every single time of which like song and which group tops the #1 charts every single throughout the whole film and such. And tomfoolery and funny moments and really you'll laugh and love and live moments and cheer on both sides, because they have great songs throughout the whole films. The songs are really much like top tier ever since like before the times of Disney and also animation and as a whole as such. Even DreamWorks can't even like comprehend it. They got DreamWorks shook with this one. And I'm a DreamWorks fan. Like DreamWorks dialogue and their scripts are really funny from what I've seen and also watched throughout. But yeah, back to the Saja Boys. The Saja Boys basically like come to their commits with like always coming on to the scene of just like causing the girls tomfoolery, not in like the take over the world, like burn it down to the ground type of way, but like in their own campy, really clown, like class clown, like type of tomfoolery type of way of like portraying themselves. And the Saja Boys hold no bounds and no quims of like getting the girls riled up, be it from like just like really romancing parts or lovey-dovey parts, and as you see from the films, it's just funniness all around.
Why does everybody think we fucked?
Cause we did. Now come here. Stop running. Come here.
Now we're gonna get down to the second moment of the part, even though I'm gonna get down to the Saja boys and also Huntress at the last part of the video, the conclusion. But yeah, with the second part of the video, I'm gonna discuss about why the female cast matters and also the producer Maggie Cane along with Chris Applehands. And you get to see so many like dedicated people who also do this, who made this beautiful Asian-esque masterpiece. Be it from like the soul, like they put like their heart and soul towards like their whole dang movie. Why I say this because I feel like nowadays it doesn't fall flat towards like the TV tropes like political agenda or gender affirming type of like aesthetic that people are doing nowadays in like local television and also from cable or social media platforms or Tumblr pill audience as such, which also is another discussion for another video. I feel like Kpop Demon Hunters is one of those like movies in which like, it's like its own authentic thing that doesn't try to like approve itself, trying to be something that is not, and let like its own like heart and soul and also good writing on top of like build like depth, meaning like make certain characters really special along the group, like I said with Rumi, along with like Mira and Zoe. But with the Saja boys, I did feel like with Saja boys it kind of been like a little bit lackluster, except for Jinu, the main leader of the group, who may I add is pretty much like the rival of like Rumi but turned like love interest throughout the film. I do feel like we never got to see like some of the Saja boys have like much more depth and proper closure on what's like one another, or get to like be able to show like relationships and interest towards like their hobbies and whatnot, basically, you know, depth. And also even though like the nuance is really good also, may I add. But we can save that for like a sequel or a franchise when the time comes, because due to like the popularity of this whole dang movie, there's so much like essence and also like beautiful ingredients and remedies, and they pretty much served everybody else, like the audiences and viewers and fans alike, be it from K-pop fandoms, etc. They'll never go hungry again, and they got their fill and such, meaning it's basically amazing as I don't know what. And about the whole like gender political affirming thing, it doesn't need to like be able to be put into this type of movie, because like they let the whole like atmosphere and also the writing and the depth towards each and last other character in the story take its hold without like before. It kind of reminisces towards how writing shoujo and josei, you know, stuff that's geared towards like girls and women. And I feel like Maggie Cane and also the staff had did a great job on doing that without jeopardizing the synopsis. It feels like a really great organic piece, like you see from like the 80s and the 90s, along with its own style and flair that's like indescribable. There's so much this series has to offer. And like I said this before, like the depth and the closure amongst like each and last character, and it has some beautiful substance towards like each and every character. Be it from like if they don't get like a certain spotlight, they make it up with like comedy, they make it like for their own like physicality, or just like being much more like an energetic like character that gets their own spotlight. And I understand the Saja boys never got their chance because like it's a movie, so there's so many time spent and also so many things that they had to manage behind the scenes and such. And you know, it's people like being on the line just to be able to get a full refreshing type of media or title out there, you know, make it or break it, because that's what's going on in animation. But yeah, this title doesn't disappoint. So Disney, be afraid and take notes, honestly. And might I add, Disney, we need to make Disney woke again, so that way they can get its and the last thing I said about josei and shoujo and also Kpop Demon Hunters having a different like similarity towards each other, you get to see so many of like the men being men and also the women being women, and it's that type of writing that's so refreshing to see, like back in the 90s and the 80s. And this is the stuff that all people should empathize with. Demon Hunters, I do feel like Sony Animation has been doing their homework lately, and it's like one of those like juggernauts, like underrated juggernauts, meaning like a big company in which like, they could be able to do a lot more if they like give other niche or indie titles or artists a chance to be able to dip their toes to like do what they love, like they did with Kpop Demon Hunters. And let me tell you, Maggie Cane and Chris Applehand on top of the staff did not disappoint with this one, because they're so like multi-layered towards the story to be able to expand upon like the prequels and the sequels and the story of many characters, to be able to be their own person and just like be able to just like get to know them. And it feels so great and refreshing to be see like a really great organic, just brand new fresh out of the box type of like movie like this. And I'm so glad for everyone out there who's also watching this video. It's coming out in theaters on pretty much I think the end or middle of August, so make sure to just like pop some popcorn, unlock the topic with a key, and consistency with me. And also click that like, comment, and subscribe button to discuss about your favorite songs on Kpop Demon Hunters, because there are really some really good and badass songs on this whole like movie. But yeah, mine is pretty much golden and also like free. Those are my two favorites, along with Dun Dun Dun. Yes. But yeah, in my opinion, I feel like Kpop Demon Hunters is one of those movie series that's gonna be like the next big Shrek in the past couple of years, and it's gonna age so properly well in many aspects and in many ways to the point where like it's gonna be our next Shrek. Why I say this is because we haven't gotten a movie that's gonna be as big as Shrek that had like a cultural or a meme or critical acclaim ever since like Shrek, and that was made by DreamWorks Animation. And I feel like with like basically those two they have in relation is the fact that they are gonna be they're gonna have like such a great trilogy or sequels or prequels that are gonna be in soon enough. But with the whole like similar to this word right here called Magnum Opus, I feel like with Kpop Demon Hunters with enough exposure and a crowd audience towards theaters, it's going to become something really big and conglomerate and gargantuan in a positive way and impact Demon Hunters. Animation. I do feel like with Kpop Demon Hunters, it's one of those shows in which like you could be able to just like, experience something really beautiful that's pretty much so great and grand and just so beautiful without it trying to like be able to just like be something that it's not. Like I said before, but the whole political agenda type of etc. topics. And what I'm trying to say is basically like Kpop Demon Hunters is about to become the next Magnum Opus, meaning basically like an important like medium of art or genre itself, etc. That's going to be something so great, so beyond our understanding, and it's going to be so popular as time goes by as we watch the show and the movie 24/7. And also the many prequels and sequels in the soon making. If we support, make sure to support indie and niche titles or artists out there. Give them a chance, try something new, or discover various like art accounts, or basically from DeviantArt to Art Station or Pinterest. Pinterest is like my #1 shit. So I'll be on in your head up 24/7. Stay positive, and also stay golden. Like that like and subscribe button. Make sure to reach to my goal to 160 or 200 in the near future. Also take down pretty much negative, toxic fandoms out there, and also tell it like it is. Critique it because not all animation is perfect and whatnot. We can still critique it and still love it at the same time. You know, find a middle ground in many things, and also make sure to make it bloom like a flower garden. And also making sure to invest myself in the iPad so I can do much more AMVs because it's going to be so hyped during like throughout the year and also next year coming. So make sure to have your many prayers and wishes, best wishes towards me and also anyone else as I do to you. And you have a wonderful evening. Enjoy yourself, and make sure to tell me about your favorite moments in Kpop Demon Hunters. And, you know, let's talk about chat and unlock the topic wiki consistency with me, and make sure to stay golden and shine like the superstar you are. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you Space Cowboys and Cowgirls and also Voyagers out there.
I broke into a million pieces and I can't go back, but now I'm seeing all the beauty and the broken glass. The scars are part of me, darkness and harmony, my voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like.
Why did I cover up the colors stuck inside my head? I should've let the jagged meet the light instead.
Show me what's underneath,
Show me the
I'll
way
find
to
your harmony. The song we couldn't write, this is what it sounds